After all, we responsible, right, for being aware. Like they tell us regarding the law. Ignorance to the law ain't no excuse. So we're responsible for educating our minds with what real law is and the difference between what is what they call color of law, which is law that appear to be law but is not real law, in comparison to us considered de jure law, which is the real government of law. Now, for instance, right, I'm doing this transmission for the sake of, like I say, let's make it make sense. Okay, what I'm talking about. Okay, for instance, there's a particular people who are engaged in certain activities such as this, right? Now we know as a people, our minds, when certain forces try to destroy us mentally to the point where they wanted to interfere with your thinking ability to be able to reason well, to interfere with your ability to reason well and not think clear, not think straight. Your mind be in the fog. You have lack of knowledge. You don't know what you're talking about. Which takes power from you when you like know what you're talking about, because that is a source of your power. Where your mind, you in your right mind. You're not in your wrong mind. So by you being in your right mind, you are armed with a certain consciousness that renders you protected from the environment, in the public, the society, people that you come in contact with who will perceive you as someone to be respected and not mentally fucked with, not played with, not your mind being played with, because that's what they do in a lot of sectors of society. They play with people's heads. So by me and you being conscious individuals to where people can't play with our heads means that we have the power, but we not abusing our power playing with other people's heads. We just trying to enlighten and educate people for them to be in their right mind in terms of each one teach one. But we know and see that, and just how it is, there's other elements and forces out here that is financing misinformation, propaganda, disinformation, lies, psyops, to trigger confusion in the minds of people who don't think and be mentalists like we supposed to be, in terms of us being mentally developed, where we are mentally ripe, a ripe, a ripe fruit of a healthy tree, not fruit from a poison tree. Now, for instance, right, let's talk about certain realities going on in our society that seems to be widespread in our here, that's controversial, such as this, right? Now, this is an era of time what we living in, what's called the Aquarian age, the information age, right? In this information age, okay, by this being an information age, there are the the world is made up of people in it. So for the information to be there, it means that not just being an information age, when it comes to the people to know things, to be hip about certain things, right? It's going to require a lot of reading. So that tells me that this is the age of reading. Now let's make this make sense. This is the information age, right? So by being an information age, the information just can't function on its own. The information going to require individuals to engage in the information through reading it, exercising a brain to strengthen a mind, where our minds will be aware of the information that we read. That will help enable us to know what time it is. So, utilizing common sense, that tells me, wait a minute, this is a age of reading. We have to get back into reading, right, a lot to discern what's real and what's not real regarding the information that's going to be given to us. It's like the floodgates of information has opened now. Ain't no excuse for us to be illiterate out here. We have access to information in this information age that requires our attention to read. Now, in light of reading, this is going to make sense. Now, when I read this information, you know how you have idiotic statements out here where people be making like, oh, he regurgitating information from something somebody wrote or something he read in a book. Mind you, these relevant books out here, it's information. The information is there to be read. So if the information is there and I don't read it, it's not serving its purpose for knowledge to be watered in our mind that will enable the seeds of thought to grow. Notice how if it ain't one thing, it's another. When it comes to academic approaches or literacy approaches, or when it comes to one engaging in reading some kind of literature, you have individuals who be saying certain things as if they want to create a mental block from you learning things that is relevant for you to know in this information age. This is an information age for a reason, especially dealing with the future that we are constantly moving forward in, dealing with technology. The technology of information that require our attention to read and develop certain concepts from reading that will enable us to have awareness of what's really going on around us. Because certain things that we don't know, right? And I think y'all will agree, can hurt you or can hurt us. May the great goddess forbid. may the Most High, the Divine Most High, forbid. The re- but this here, catch this here, right? Remember that saying, only fools duck when the truth is thrown at them. But I say a wise man like me catch it. Why certain look, believe in yourself when it comes to you doing whatever it is you have to do on this planet in terms of meeting your purpose. Because this is your time, this is my time. So this transmission that I'm making is for the purpose of contributing to the permutation of the human species, which I'm about transformation, right, into being the God that I am supposed to be, beyond the psychological warfare that's constantly put out here for us not to get it. You know what I'm saying? For us not to tap into the potential of our higher selves and stay away from things that is of pretty much stuck in what's called the root chakra civilization. Now, is this what I'm reading from? Is this of the root chakra? Check this out, right? Regarding what's going on around us right now. If the global extermination of the darker peoples of the world was not staring us directly in the eyes, most people would immediately put this book down and stop reading it. However, anyone reading this book is witnessing abnormalities of society, pedophilia in children's books at their local libraries or elementary schools, daily deaths from people who who've who've taken the harmful injections falsely classified as vaccinations that don't vaccinate, or homosexuality and perversion spread throughout all forms of media. Censorship on a level never before experienced by the American public. Strategically planned and executed economic ruin of a wealthy nation, right? Organized child sex trafficking rings run by the leaders of nations. Systemic, premeditated criminal acts in certain places that's questionable. Now, for instance, right, that is pointing at, okay, for instance, we have people, like I say, the upcoming elections is coming. What people think of our government? It's been so much hate mongering going on. People got negative attitudes about government behavior and activities in terms of governments going rogue and things of this particular nature. When we out here, we the people, regarding, for instance, the Constitution of this country, do it apply to all the American people? Do all the American people have an interest in the Constitution to where we know our rights? Or when it comes to the, what's that, the Universal Declaration of Indigenous Peoples, the United Nations, the indigenous rights of people, do people know their indigenous rights? Is people's minds being upgraded to the point where we are interested in information in terms that reflect our maturity as a people. This goes on to read, right? Government sponsored sabotage to a nation's food supply, overt economic terrorism through forced unemployment and money controls, racial manipulation, and incitement ping pong, organized overthrow of sovereign nations, destruction of presidents who won't comply with Israel or the West's desires, right? Now, forced technology injections into men, where you have certain mandates, right? Or, say, for instance, in a society, certain elements or certain suggestions just being forced on us as a people. Does that make that right? Like in the case of a woman saying no, no means no. So if a perpetrator was to continue to cross the boundaries of her saying no and commit a violent act against her and take something by force away from her, that constitute rape, which is an illegal crime that is punishable from adjudication of a judge, which will be properly administered in terms of the hard evidence that show the guilt of the rapist or the guilty party committing that illegal act against the vulnerable innocence of the woman. So does certain mandates regarding things that is putting people who, say for instance, in a workplace in a vulnerable situation where they say you can't take this. If you don't take this, then you can't work, which is a form of rape of a person's right to say no without having to worry about negative consequences of not being able to work by these certain powers that be, which they know, hey, that ain't even right. We gonna play them like that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't right. So what is right? What's really going? What's really going on? Why is men who stand up as being men who don't agree with things that is not normal looked upon as they trying to like they trying to make it appear like if you a man that stand for certain principles, like me, I stand for certain principles as a man, right? That don't place me in no hate group. Us as men, we not a hate group. We just have a moral compass that shows that we have sins. And then when I said this transmission is about, okay, I'm gonna let's make this transmission make sense, y'all. Because what I'm communicating regarding is going to go into a lot of other realities of the planet. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with certain nationalities that's doing what they doing. You know what I'm saying? So to go deeper regarding these certain forces, right? I'm gonna go in detail about because there's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? So look, thanks for y'all time. May y'all get some well-being. This is just part one of Let's Make It Make Sense. You know what I'm saying? All is well. Positive energy activate constant elevation. And much love to partner Bab Yanun. Rahuba Hotel. Look, we some good people, y'all. We keep it real. I get back with y'all very soon. Peace and love.